Alrighty, we're going down into station camp, and it's myself and a couple more hiking buddies, and gonna look for some an old school, maybe some graves, that type of thing. So early October, hope you enjoy it, and maybe we'll see some good things to video. Lots of bluffs and scenery going down into station camp. Problem is, we usually come in the other way and walk up this hill, and by the time I get up here, I'm pretty well dying. Not paying a lot of attention, but very, very scenic coming in. Bluffs on both sides.
Got him a girlfriend now, and he don't post as much, and they're posting selfies of themselves a lot. I thought that looks much better, Josh.
Road down into station camp is incredibly steep. You have to think back 100 years ago and imagine wagons, old Model A's and T's trying to come up this hill. It's exceptionally steep. You don't pick it up with the camera, of course, but I tell you, coming back up the other way, it's definitely a slog. Probably the foundation of an old home right here beside the road. Huge rock and several rock piles. Another old home place right before you get to Laurel Fork. Big pile of stone. Remnants of a chimney, possibly. And more stacked stone behind. No telling. We'll have to get the map out and see if there's indications as to who lived here. So this on the right before we get to Laurel Fork. Another pile of rocks just right on the road, so not sure. It could have been a home place, could have been maybe a corral for the animals. Don't know, but signs of life down at the bottom of intersection of Laurel Fork and station camp. I always wondered about these stacks of these interlocking blocks down here, and found out years ago there was a project to reinforce the banks where the station camp ford is, where you cross there in the low areas. So I think this is remnants of a project that the park was doing to reinforce some banks that were getting eroded. 4 or 5 guys and horses we crossed paths with. Bushwhacking around, trying to get up to Fork Ridge a little ways, and big old roll of wire. Not sure what that is. Okay, looks like we've come to the end of the road and found where they're trapping hogs. We have found Elijah Smith's graveyard, or grave. Oh boy. That is a real deal. So excited. Stumbled upon it by accident. Elijah Smith is the husband of Nancy. She's buried, I know where her grave is, over the hill towards No Business on the creek. Wow, good deal. Looking down on station camp after we left Elijah Smith, just bushwhacking around an old trail. Another good find. We found the chimney of Ike King. His cabin set right here. Ike was a amazing man. He had a store, postmaster, teacher at school. Love a picture of him paddling kids across the river to school. Ike King. Good deal. From what I read, the cabin stood up until 1973 and was burned down in a fire, which seemed to happen a lot with cabins up here. Again, you can go to Scott County's historical site on Facebook and Google Ike King and search on Ike King, and you can see a picture of the cabin, well-built cabin from 1972. Really old chair, looked like a chair on your front porch. The frame's still sitting here beside it. Possibly part of the front porch tying in a I-beam into the ground. Fence line around his property. Well, she lost the insole of her shoe. Alrighty. The old fireplace, I guess they drug it out after the fire. More scrap metal. So no doubt the cabin faced this direction. Everybody had a 55-gallon barrel to put your junk in. Possibly a well, not sure. More metal, basically the whole hillside, probably the roof. Maybe a metal roof at one time. Well, I ain't sure how old this thing is. It's by the road. Didn't show how many planks are missing on this bridge. Kind of looks like, excuse me, something out of Indiana Jones. The Station Camp School, getting real close. Here's a big pile of metal, old building of some sort. We're at the side of the Station Camp School, but there's just not a whole lot left. Standing right on top of the coordinates. It had moved multiple times. It kept moving, get on higher ground. I think it was swept away a couple times of floods. But this was the Station Camp School. Alrighty, just as a recap, we drove down at the end of Duncan Hollow Road and walked down to Laurel Fork and just got lucky and found the headstone of Elijah Smith, and then walked around Laurel and found the home place of Ike King. Walked around Station Camp School, nothing left much. Maybe a few old foundation stones. Rather than hike back the really steep part, we're walking up to John Muir. It's longer but a little bit easier. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you later.